Hello and welcome to the Feel Good Everyday podcast. I am so excited today because I have a good friend on, Ari Jariwalla. Tell us all about you and your company and all the things.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you so much for having me on. I'm so happy to be here. I'm Ari Jariwalla. My company is Jariwalla Financial Wellness. I started it 3 months ago to the day. So very excited.
Yay!
I'm an Arizona native. I fell in love with personal finance as a teenager. I spent 14 years working at one of the largest investment companies and then started this company 3 months ago. It's personalized financial planning for busy people who are doing okay, but they want to be more intentional about their finances. They want to have peace of mind that their money is working as hard as they are. I have two little toddlers. I've been married for 11 years. I love working out, reading, traveling, all the things.
Yes, love that. Oh my gosh, you have a full and busy life, but it all sounds pretty good for most part. Yeah, most days. Yeah, you're busy, but I love it. So let's go back to the beginning. You spent 14 years, right, at Vanguard. What led you to leave there and start your own or come to the realization that you needed to do your own thing?
Yeah, well, I have two answers for you, both pretty personal. So the first one is I had two babies in a year and a half. I just wanted to have more control over my time. I wanted to
Yes.
control how I was spending my day. I wanted to have mental capacity to pour into them. And I was absolutely making a difference in all of the different roles that I held at Vanguard over that time. But at that point, I was pretty far removed from like sitting across the table with someone and helping them think about how they want to achieve their specific goals in money and in life. And if I was going to be investing time away from my kids, I wanted to like feel the impact that I was having and helping people, like regular people like us. And then the second reason, this is a story that I've not shared publicly before. It's pretty personal. My 41-year-old husband had a stroke last summer. It completely blindsided our family. I stayed in the hospital with him for 3 weeks during his recovery. Our parents were raising our kids for us. It was terrifying. We didn't know if he
Yes.
was through. We didn't know what kind of deficits he might have. And like thankfully, he has had a miraculous recovery. We are so, so grateful for his health. We know it could have been way different. And like during this crisis, I was so scared for his life. I was terrified that my kids, they were so young, they wouldn't remember their father. I ached for my babies. I was like pumping milk every 3 hours for my son. I was really scared. But one thing that I wasn't worried about was that the hospital bills would bankrupt us. I wasn't worried about if we'd be able to pay our bills or if we'd lose our house if he wasn't able to return to work. We had set our lives, our financial lives up so intentionally that even something as devastating as a stroke wasn't a threat to us.
Yeah.
And I want all families and all people to have that level of security. The other piece was I didn't realize how fragile life was. This was really eye-opening for
Mhm.
me. So if I was gonna like take a bet on myself and do something that I dreamed of for years, now's the time. Why wait?
Right. Right. Exactly. Oh, thank you for sharing that. I love that. And yeah, that I can't even imagine, especially with two tiny little ones at home with parents, like your parents raising them. And then you've got this husband. And then, I mean, at least you have the peace of mind for financial, but even so, it's probably still one of the last things on your mind when you're navigating this entire process. Cause a lot of us don't know or realize, right, until you're in it, like that those feelings and the processes in the hospital and the insurance and the oh, yeah, it's a lot.
Yes, I was grateful to have been a professional project manager in one of my eras at Vanguard,
Yes.
managing his care.
Yeah, I feel that, right. And I just knowing the little bit I do about you probably had like a checklist somewhere in your phone or something.
One, no.
Yeah, right, exactly. You call your company Jariwalla Financial Wellness. I love that you've got the wellness part of it. Tell me more about why you named it.
Yes, this is so important to me. So, financial wellness is a lot more comprehensive. It's more holistic than planning. So, I help with budgeting, debt, retirement planning, investment strategy, all of those things. But the real value that I provide my clients is peace of mind about their future. So, we know that chaotic finances get in the way of people having the mental capacity to prioritize their health or even just get a good night's sleep. They're worrying about money. So, that money stress and freeing up some income to invest in their health, like health coaching or even just like regularly getting to the doctor, doing like fitness classes that light you on fire and make you feel good, like whatever else could help them feel good. That's the real benefit of financial wellness to me.
Yes, I totally agree. As an integrative health practitioner, the more I dig into healing myself, helping my clients heal, I don't think we really have given ourselves enough credit of how much stress can bring your health down. It's probably one of the number one things across the board, across all diseases, all health issues, your health and wellness journey in general,
Yeah.
how it's stress, especially money, which is a big deal, right? On how it can just derail everything and bring your health and wellness. Even if you're doing all the right things, if you're super stressed, it is just going to pull that health down. So I love that you have that going in there with that mindset for not only you, but for your clients. I think that's such a huge part. In your experience, what does financial stress actually look like in the women you work with or the people you work with?
Yeah, well, I completely agree with what you were saying about stress being so detrimental to health. It's incredibly dangerous, I think, especially for women. The women I work with are carrying such heavy loads for their families. They're working, they're often the ones managing the family budget, they're planning for the future. Sometimes they're raising kids or teenagers, and they're often going through big life transitions. They tell me that
Mm.
worrying about money keeps them up at night with a tightness in their chest. They feel like they're
Yes.
doing enough or maybe not doing the right things to set their kids up for success in the future. They're getting out of marriages that
Right.
weren't serving them. They're starting new businesses and they're not really sure how their money should work for them in this new life stage. I see every day incredibly strong, really smart women. They're running their lives so well, but they're spending a ton of extra energy worrying because they don't have the level of clarity or confidence that they need to take control of their finances and feel really sturdy there. It is a stress.
Yes.
It has a solution, but it requires a little bit of courage to like stop it in its tracks.
Yes. Yes. I love that you use the word courage too, because I think it is one of those mindsets where we either just assume that life is just, doing things for us and we have no control and we can't set our reality and we can't, jump in and take over. Right. Or the opposite, like you said, with that courage to stand up and take control and take the reins and create our own reality, whatever that looks like. That feeling, like you said, that achy chest, like tight chest, that's like that brick sitting on your chest. We've all been there with whether it's financial stress or otherwise, right? Yeah, it's a horrible feeling, especially you have it all the time and you don't realize it, right? In the last podcast that's going out this week, my friend and I were talking about how you don't realize that you're like this sometimes, right? And it's
Yes.
part of that like achy heart anxiety stress thing. And it's like, oh, okay, what if I just like let go of my hands? Why am I holding them T-Rex arms?
Yeah.
Why am
Yeah.
I like this?
We're both like white knuckling our way through everything and giving up all of our power. Like both of those things we are
Yes,
doing.
yes, exactly. Like, how is that even possible? I'm controlling everything, but I'm giving it all up at the same time. Like, what? Yes, exactly. I love that. All right. There's probably a woman listening to this right now who makes good money, but still feels this constant financial anxiety. What's usually going on there? Like, why is she feeling stressed?
Well, I would tell her, you're not alone. I see this a lot. I've noticed a couple of different root causes. One, it can be like a mindset carried over from childhood where she learned that money equals stress. And that is just like with her as like a sad friend in adulthood. And then for others,
Yes.
it can be lifestyle creep. So that's when your income grows, but your spending grows right alongside it, and sometimes even faster. Even my husband, and I, we've both been in finance for our entire careers. And once we started to have a little bit more career success years ago, we hired a housekeeper in addition to our landscaper and our pool guy. During the
Mm.
pandemic, we started getting takeout and like food delivery all the time, and then just like kept that bad habit. When we made more money, we stopped tracking our spending as closely. And it just like those lifestyle changes totally add up. So if you have a good job, you have a
Yeah.
solid salary, but you don't have a true handle on like what's coming in, what's going out, and then like you don't have a good plan for what to do with that difference, like how to invest that money to build wealth, then you're really gonna just feel that anxiety of the uncertainty build up in your body. A good financial planner can help you get that clarity that's going to defang the uncertainty. But if it's all just sort of like nebulous and you're not totally sure what's happening in your accounts, of course that's going to feel extra heavy or stressful.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. And again, we go back to that like feeling of stress and derailing that health and wellness journey that we're all on at some point. What are the biggest blind spots you see for women or people in general in their 40s, 40s, 50s?
A fun thing about 40 is that it makes retirement feel so much more real, like less like this nebulous, hazy future thing, and more like a, oh, shoot, I should probably do something about that type of problem. So,
Yeah. Right.
retirement readiness check in your 40s while there's still time to course correct if you need to. It's always a good idea and not something that I feel like a lot of people do on their own. And then another blind spot, like a little more specific, is life insurance. So either not
Mm.
having it and you need it, or maybe you have way too much because you bought it when your life was different. You had like little kids at home, maybe you just had one income. And so taking a look and double checking things that you had like made decisions on in the past, but maybe aren't serving you now that your life looks a lot different, can also be beneficial.
Yeah. And question, as you're talking, I'm like, yes, yes, yes. But there is that point where it's like you are tracking so much that it becomes almost like that obsession. So how do you help people be like, it's a balance, right? So yes, as your income grows, you shouldn't be out spending as much as you're taking in. But at the same time, your whole life shouldn't be every single penny worried in or out, right? So how do you tell people to relax, have fun? Here's the balance in life.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's like one of the benefits that I offer as a financial planner is like, especially given my recent health experience in my family, is like the future's not promised. Like, yes, you need to have a solid plan for your retirement, but you don't want to forego your joy now in service of that. So finding
Yes.
that balance between enjoying life now because you can, because you have peace of mind that you've got a good plan in place for the future, is super important.
Yes.
I would say for people who have maybe kind of messy finances or it's not something that they've prioritized, there will be a time period where you will need to pay close attention. You will need to be tracking your expenses. You need to invest the time to get clear, to really think through what your financial goals are and whether you're on track to meet them or not. But then after that time period, so long as you've got something solid in place that truly fits your life, then you can kind of let off the gas a little bit, automate some things and let it run for you so that you don't have to think about money unless you want to.
Right. Yes. I love that because I think, again, that can be stressful too. Not having a plan is stressful, but also when you've got the plan and then making sure you've got all the T's or I's and T's right dotted, whatever that saying is, right? It can also be a obsession too. And I always relate that back to like weight, right? Especially as women, we can be really obsessed with our weight, right? And so gaining muscle or losing weight or right if we're getting on the scale every day and then like obsessing all day if it's not the right number we wanted to see and that's again that wellness aspect of like, you gotta live your life, have the ice cream, because sometimes that's the medicine too, or whatever your thing is, cake, whatever, wine.
That's
Yeah,
my favorite
exactly. Okay,
about feel
I
good,
love that.
about that balance.
Yes, yes, exactly, exactly. And it sounds so simple, right? But yet it does take a little bit of work, but I don't think we realize how simple it really can be at the end of the day, both finances and wellness, the health and wellness journey, right? So yeah, you basically touched upon this already, but I want to go a little bit deeper into this because there's so many women that are going through this, these big life transitions of perimenopause, maybe divorce, maybe job change, maybe moving, maybe, kids going to college, aging parents, kind of all the things. How does that affect the financial wellness and planning?
Yeah, this is one of my favorite things about midlife women, knowing them, working with them. They're so much clearer about what they want and what they don't
Mhm.
want and like what they're going to put up with if they're 200% done with accepting BS. And
Yes.
this impacts
Yeah.
personal finances so much. So most of my clients are experiencing life transitions. I think it's kind of a pivotal point where they seek out support from a planner. Divorce comes with a brand new financial landscape in terms of income, expenses, housing costs, your investments, then job changes, especially like starting your own business like we've done, and not having the medical and retirement benefits that come with a corporation. That recasts your entire financial picture. And so if you need a new set of tools to manage that picture. So I help by
Yeah.
clear snapshot of, okay, here's where you are today. And then helping clients get super clear on what their actual like, financial and life goals are. And then building them a long-term roadmap to go from A to B that incorporates all of their new life circumstances. It can actually feel really cathartic for people to work through that roadmap and like see their new life mapped out and just have that clear picture of, okay, like here are my dreams, here's what's possible.
Yes, I love that because I think that is such a big point you said. We are done with the BS at certain points, right, of our life. We really just want to get real and also what's possible, right? We want to go out and find that joy and fun that maybe we've been missing the last few years or giving to everyone else but ourselves. So, yes, love that. You charge a fee, no commissions, for a woman who's never worked with a financial planner. Tell me a little bit more about that and why that matters.
Annie, this actually matters so much. And it's one of the least understood things because the financial services industry benefits from it staying murky, even though that hurts investors.
Yes.
So,
Oh, I love that you said that. Yes.
a typical financial advisor, they take your money, then they invest it into different investment funds that are based on your goals, your risk tolerance, and then they take a percentage of your invested assets as their compensation. Some of these
Okay.
advisors also receive compensation for putting your money in certain products, which is just a huge conflict of interest. So they basically get like commission for like recommending you certain things and then investing it. My model is completely different. So my clients maintain complete control over their money and I tell them how to invest it. My only
Okay.
compensation is a flat fee that clients pay me for the financial plan that I create for them and the advice that I give. And I don't sell products. I never receive any commissions from any companies. So my recommendations are solely based on what's best for my client and their goals.
Yes, I love that. Because yeah, I think you said like the murkiness, it's so true. I mean, I'm the first person to say math has never been my forte. I am not a math person. I don't love looking at finances. I will be completely honest. I know they're being taken care of.
Not for
We have
everybody.
done the things, but I'm still, yeah, but I'm still like, I get that feeling just like, even looking at it, no matter it's good or bad. And so I feel like having someone that can give you like the just, I'm here for support, the no BS answers, the like, here's what it's actually is, here how's that it can help you, what you got to do. I love that. So thank you. 'Cause that's what we really want, right? That
Yeah.
clear.
The translation.
Yes, exactly. So if someone's been avoiding their finances for months or weeks or years, what would you say their first step should be?
I think there's like a pre-step before the step. So that's like let yourself off the hook. Accept this as a fresh
Mhm.
start. Don't bring any guilt or shame from the past into it. Like now is
Yes.
what matters. So then the first step is just refamiliarize yourself with your money. Log into your bank
Mm.
account and just sort of like neutrally observe what's going on in there. Like meditation, you got a thought. You're just like
Yes.
neutrally. Just look at what's happening.
Yes.
Do it like once a week, do it for a few weeks. That's going to help you really learn your income and spending patterns. Once that starts to feel a little less scary, they consider establishing your first financial goal. Maybe it's saving enough money to cover like a $2,000 emergency. There are a lot of
Yeah.
different places that you can start if you're new to all this, and it's never too late to improve your relationship with your money. You just got to start.
Yes. How do you, as a financial planner, look at this? Do you look at it daily? Are you sort of like, I know we're good, and so I'm just going to check in, or like, yeah, I want to hear from you. What, how you live?
I would say I would not advise my clients to handle it how I handle it because Annie, you and I have a lot in common, But one thing that is different is I am so geeked over this stuff. I love it. Like, I love that today's
Yeah.
June 1st because it means that I'm going into my spreadsheet. I'm looking at all of my May expenses. I'm comparing them to my May budget. I'm updating my net worth. Like, there are apps that can do this. I could do it so much more efficiently than I do, but I'm just so into like the manuals of it all. Like, I'm so into it. So that's how I do it. I old school, get my fingers on the numbers. But there are so many good apps. Like, I've heard great things about Monarch. I've heard great things about YNAB, which is you need a budget. So do not want to spend a bunch of time in Excel. There's excellent technology that can make it easy so that you don't have to get in there and do all of that like I enjoy doing.
Yeah, no, thank you for sharing because I think, seeing that excitement that you have over this really shows the love that you have for it. And I think it's such a different type of industry where a lot of us are just like, like we talked about like that. But
Like
to see that you
you.
love it and you light up when you talk about it, and so I think that's awesome. And you want to find someone like that because then you don't feel like that, like you said, that murky, slimy, someone that truly enjoys it and loves it, that lights up. So thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
Mindset. So, I'm a big believer on the health and wellness journey that 90% of it is mindset, no matter what issues you're dealing with. And I know a lot of that's for money too, right? The mindset. You touched upon this already, but I'd love to go deeper. You know, we all have childhood issues, probably from how we saw our family deal with money or the world, how it told us how we should think about money, scarcity or trauma or whatever it is. How do you help your clients deal or figure out or work through their own mindset issues, challenges to get to a healthy state?
Yeah, this is so important. And like you said, like we all have a money story. I actually did a
Yes.
on my Instagram a few weeks ago about this. So I shared my own money story. Then I shared how it impacted me and the choices I've made throughout my life. And then the money story that I hope my kids leave my home with. It resonated with a lot of people, but it was actually just so helpful for me to do that reflection myself. Like
Yes.
with health, like you said, mindset matters so much when you're talking about money. And if you grew up believing that you're bad with money or you're never going to have enough money, like that mindset is going to impede your success like well into adulthood because our minds are so powerful that if we make up our mind that like, oh, I'm never going to learn this or I'm just bad with this or wealthy people are greedy or like whatever you have chosen to believe or not even consciously chosen but from childhood, it impacts
Yes.
us every day. So acknowledging the beliefs that we hold about money, recognizing how they've helped us and how they've hurt us, and then just releasing them to make room for new, more accurate beliefs that are going to serve us. That is a critical first step in getting your money in order.
Yeah. And a huge one too. I mean, I feel like I'm 48 and I am just starting to realize the stories I've been telling myself about everything and how much more powerful we are as individuals in releasing those old identities, creating our own world, our own mindset, our reality, whatever you want to call it. And how you can feel like, yes, I can take these steps, but then several days later or a day later, you might be way back at the beginning
Right.
and have to work
Yes.
to move back
Yes.
forward, that it's constant. So I think that's such a huge part because we do have those stories and to be able to work through them as a financial planner. And I feel like the same is true about the health practitioner. You probably have to be a little bit psychologist, therapist, coach, friend, mentor, kind of all those things wrapped into one as you help people through it.
100%. 100%. I'm like
Yeah.
the biggest cheerleader for my clients because I want them to be successful. I want to educate them. I want to empower them. I want to hear all of their things that are not related to money because, of course, it's all related to money.
Right, right. And I think, I'm realizing for myself that money is an energy resource. And for me, that mindset has helped me realize that it's not this thing I have to, like we were talking about before, control, hold on to,
Yeah.
and be afraid of, right? But also, it's just another energy resource like anything else, like paper or or food or oxygen, right? But
Yeah.
like figuring out how to get that mindset for money, the appropriate energy resource that it is, right?
Absolutely, absolutely.
I was on a call this morning with a group of women entrepreneurs, and I think it's the first time in my life that we all said, we are following our dreams by doing our businesses, but we also love money. And I was like,
Yes.
oh my God. Yes, thank you for saying that, right? Like, we can love money even if we are, women and we are following our dreams and we're doing these soul businesses, right? And we are yoga teachers or shamanics or marketers or, right? And I think there's this like, if you're following your dream, you're going to be poor. But I also feel like, yes, to say that you love money, to again, that's that mindset, right? That energy, that being open
Fun.
energy. Like, I love that.
I have a quick story on that. It relates to my personal life
Please.
story because it sounds really radical to say, I love money. Like that, story about this. It relates to my own money story. So my daughter has this little ice cream cart and it has all these fake dollar bills in it. And she had like a handful of them and she came running into the kitchen. I'm making dinner and she hands them to me and I go, oh, thanks, Maya, money. I love money. And my mom was there and she like kind of raised her eyebrows like, is that like a value you should be teaching your daughter that like, you love money? Yes, because I do
Yeah.
love money because money has provided us all these things and it allows us to give generously to other people and it allows us
Yes.
to build the lives that we want to build and like achieve the goals that are important to us as a family, like just my whole soapbox, but it's a
Yes.
different belief than I grew up with.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Thank you for saying that. I think that's so true. Cause I think, yeah, I grew up probably very similar. Most of our generations are probably very similar, right? Like, money is greedy. The rich people are greedy and bad. Corporations are bad.
Yeah.
And I grew up in the Bay Area in high tech marketing. So I was in the corporations. And so hearing that you're raising your daughter with this value of like, I love money because of what it does, I think is such a huge, awesome start for them. So that's so awesome that you say that. Thank you for sharing. Okay, what gets in the way of women sticking to their plan?
So much gets in the way because life happens because we're not perfect people. Something important in your house breaks, or someone needs a new car, or gas costs $5 a gallon. There are just like a lot of different variables. And if you start with a plan that assumes perfection, either in like external circumstances or in your own behavior, then it just immediately becomes irrelevant when something comes up. So
Yeah.
if you need to have a good plan that you're going to actually be able to stick to, or maybe not even stick to 100% of the time, kind of like a clean diet, like an 80-20,
Right? Exactly.
you
What I
build it
say.
enough, you build in enough buffer into the plan so that it can bend without breaking, then you're going to be
Mhm.
more likely to stick to it. A good financial planner can help build that flexible plan, and then they can walk alongside you to make adjustments as big things change.
Yes, I love that because I think that's because we're human, right? We can't be 100% all the time, whether it's money or health. So, yes, I actually tell all my clients 80-20. 80% follow this plan we've just walked through and done and created for you. And then 20%, like I said, go have the cake, go have the wine, go have whatever your thing is.
A lot with like fitness, like
Yes.
consistency matters more than intensity. So I can like
Yes.
write out, this is exactly what I'm going to do this week. And I'm going to give it like all this, but no, I'm not going to do that because like maybe I'm going to have a hard night with my kids and then I'm going to beat myself up because I didn't stick to the thing.
Yeah.
But like if I commit to the 20-minute workout because that's actually doable, then I'm not going to let perfection be the enemy of the good.
Yes, I love that. Yeah. And I think that's really hard as high functioning women that are doing all the things to a find and also then do, right? To stick to that and not do that 100 or 1,000% workout or nutrition plan or finance, right? Like,
Yeah.
and then be sore the next day or have burned out or whatever, right? You read the book, my book, The Feel Good Every Day, and thank you for that support. What was the bridge for you between what I do and what you do?
Well, and you already know I love to feel good every day.
Thank you.
I'll say, like financial information, we know there's no shortage of health information out there, good and bad. Like, what felt different about your book is it met me where I am. So, like, you knew I wouldn't be reading a book about feeling better unless A, I was personally invested in my own health, and then B, I felt like there was some room for improvement. So, like, we know bodies, medicine, they're really complex topics, but they're also deeply personal. And the same is
Yeah.
true for money. You can
Oh,
go very
sure.
deep, and there are a lot of people who want to sell you things who would love for you to believe that it's too hard for you to figure out on your own. But the truth is, we're all capable of taking care of our bodies. We're all
Mhm.
capable of taking care of our money because we're smart women who believe
Mhm.
that we're worthy of future lives that we want to live. And we're
Mhm.
willing to work really hard to build those. And
Yes.
sometimes we do need a little support, like a health coach or a financial planner who can educate us, empower us. And
Yes.
that's where people like you and me come in.
Yeah, exactly. I love that. And I feel like you've got this warm personality that just helps you feel like a friend where I can be like, okay, this is what I did. Don't judge.
Yes, yes, yes. That's my tagline. It's like no judgment, no jargon.
Yes. I love that. Exactly. I love that. And so being who you are with that amazing warm personality, dear friend, like just helps kind of land that warmth and bring it through. So, all right, we're going to finish this out with a little rapid fire questions. I have about five. Okay, first one. One money move every woman in midlife should make this year.
Get a high yield savings account if your cash is just sitting in your regular bank earning next to nothing. I
Okay.
personally use the Vanguard Cash Plus account.
All right, that's good to hear. I love that. Okay. The financial myth you're most tired of hearing.
And it's too late to get started.
Yes, yes. Okay, perfect. Finish this. Feeling good about money means.
Not thinking about money if you don't want to be.
Yes. Okay, awesome. Favorite morning beverage.
Coffee with soy milk.
Oh, okay, why
Maybe
soy?
I just love soy milk. I was vegan for 3 years, like in my early 20s, and soy milk is one of the things that I've kept with
Just
me.
keep with. Yep, I totally get it. Yeah, we were vegan for 5, and so I get it. Yeah, totally. Okay, mine's coffee too. I'm a coffee lover. Current book you're either listening to or reading.
I recently finished The Psychology of Money, which was really good. It's worth a read for anyone looking to better understand the relationship with money, and you don't have to
Yeah.
be a money nerd to enjoy it. But now I'm rereading the third Twilight book with a few. It's about balance, right?
Right. Oh my gosh, for sure. For sure. I know I've got the same where I'm like reading the fairy smut, but then I'm also got like my health and wellness, like mindfulness. Well, thank you, Ari, for coming on. This was amazing. I feel like I had my finances in control, but I even feel like I've walked away with more confidence and knowledge about how I need to approach and look at my finances. Where can people find you? And I'll put links down below. I know you've got a website that you are in the process. I think you've launched, right?
Yeah.
Yay!
It's jfinwellness.com.
Awesome.
And then all of my content is also on my Instagram, which is J Financial Wellness.
Okay, awesome. And I'll put the links below. Is there anything else, kind of final things you want to tell people at all?
I would say, again, I've said this a bunch of times, but it's not too late. It's not too late to get started. It does take courage to take that first step, but just know that you're worth it and that you deserve to build a life that you love, and money's going to help you get there.
Yes. And I love that you said the worth because I think that's so much of that mindset, right? We are worthy of feeling good, like my podcast. We are worthy of having the life we want with the money and the financial planning that goes into that. So thank you, Ari. I so enjoyed our conversation. And hopefully we'll have you back soon. That'd be amazing.
Thank you, Annie.